Hello, welcome to another video. Okay, so today I'd like to talk about minor pentatonic substitution. Just basically a few of the different ones we can look at to get a bit more mileage out of your bog standard minor pentatonic scale. We all use it all the time. It's a little bit maligned and a bit looked down upon by a lot of guitarists these days, because sometimes we get this sort of general message from people that, you know, sort of more sophisticated is better, and that's wrong in a lot of ways, really. You know, sophisticated's cool, but it doesn't need to be the case all the time. And to be honest, a lot of people that say that still use minor pentatonic most of the time anyway. I've got no time for intellectual snobbery when it comes to which scales you should use and all that sort of stuff. It's just whatever fits the music best at any given time. And for most contemporary styles, we use the minor pentatonic scale a hell of a lot, as we know. Cool, so we can use these substitutions, we can look at them from any of the 7 notes within a major scale, for example, or a minor scale or whatever. But I'm just going to give you the sort of a few of the ones that I use the most. There's a few of the other ones, like things like ones from the tritone, that are a little bit ambiguous, really, and they're kind of halfway between diminished, altered, that kind of thing. And there's some that are a bit more direct, and they're the ones we're going to look at, the ones that are the most obvious sound, and that for me get you straight to the sound that we're looking for. Cool, so everybody knows position 1. Everyone knows this. Should have tuned up first. Anyway, close enough. So yeah, everybody knows good old position 1. Okay, we all know there's 5 positions of that. And so on. But we only need position 1 for this particular example. It'll just show you the crux of the idea a lot quicker, really, a bit more effectively. You can always take them through the different positions, absolutely, and I do recommend you do that. But for the purpose of this video, I'm not keeping it too long as well. I'm just going to use position 1. Cool. So position 1, we all know that. That's the first one. Simple as that. We all know where to use that. We generally use it over minor chords, minor 7 chords. And a lot of people use it over dominant chords as well, which is totally fine. There's a minor 3rd in there, but it's a bit ambiguous anyway over a dominant chord, because a lot of guys will bend it up to the 3rd. But what they tend to do is they'll play minor pentatonic at the top and then dominant at the bottom. They'll put mixolydian in, they'll put the major 3rd in. You get that kind of thing happening quite a lot. So that's the first one, that's the most obvious one. Most of us know that one and where to use it. The second one that I like to use is built from the 2nd of the key. So we're just going to use A for now. So we're going to play it from B, and we're just going to play the exact same thing, position 1. You know, so technically it's B minor pentatonic now. We're still playing it over the A minor tonality. So what this is going to give us, the intervals that it's going to give us, the harmonic spelling, the intervallic spelling, is going to be the 2nd or the 9th, then it's going to give us the 4th or the 11th, then the 5th, then the 6th, then the root, and then the 9th again. So for those of you that have already spotted it, it's a very Dorian flavoured sound, because it's got the natural 6th in there. So the idea being, if you've got an A minor vamp, a tonality in a song, and you want to go for that Dorian flavour, then you absolutely can by using this idea. So we've got I can play A minor pentatonic, maybe a bit of Dorian there, and then over that, you know. So you can. The idea is that you try and get in and out of the 2 things. Gives us that minor 6, that Dorian. Hopefully you can hear that. Cool. So that's a really useful one. Dead easy as well. We're just moving it up a tone. Minor pentatonic, up a tone. Done. Job's a good one. I got asked about that in the last video in the comments. I'm not sure where the guy was from, but he didn't understand job's a good one. I think it's maybe northern, I don't know. But I've heard southerners say as well, the job is a good one. It would be the proper phrase, but it just means you know, done it, sorted, whatever you want to, whatever other sort of affirmative sentence you want to use. Cool. So that's first two. Next one that I like to use a lot is one from the minor third. So that would be starting on C, and that's going to be the same thing, just position one. That's just going to be C minor pentatonic now, but still over the same minor. Now, what's that going to give us? That's going to give us an altered sort of sound. A lot of guys use this one a lot. Let's go through the intervals first. So the intervals would be C minor third, E flat, which is the flat 5, then we've got F, which is the flat 6, then we've got G, which is the flat 7, then we've got B flat, which is the flat 9, then we're back at the flat third again, so the minor third. So that's an interesting set of notes, that we've got a flat 5 in there, and a flat 9, and a flat 6. A lot of that, we're looking at altered scale territory there, you know, which is quite cool, because it's sometimes people find it difficult to get altered scale licks to sound cool and to fit the playing, you know, they generally tend to just play up and down the scale. So by minimising the amount of notes that you play, the pentatonic scale's only got 5 notes, then it should be slightly easier to hit some of those interesting notes. Now, there's an argument you could say, well, why would you want to play altered over a minor tonality? Well, you wouldn't always, you know, you could use it as a passing thing, or a way to get from one to another. That happens a lot. If you're playing a minor blues, you've got chord 1 to chord 4. A lot of guys would stick the altered scale in between there, you know, so they go like, you know, so if this is kind of your vamp, so if you're playing over that, you go like. So that was using the altered scale to get from chord 1 to chord 4, just as for those passing sort of tensions in between. Now if I was to use this minor pentatonic scale, I could get very similar results, because if I start, say here, I'm starting on the flat 5 to the minor third, then flat 9s, and so straight away they're going to be very tense against this chord. So I'll do the same thing now using the C minor pentatonic substitution. So if I go, see what I did there? So I went to use that as a passing tonality in between the two chords. Now obviously that's one way to do it, and if we're just purely talking minor, that's cool, but then if you play it over a dominant 7, it would be cool as well. So playing over an A7, that was taking us to the 4 chord there, and it actually probably sounds slightly better there in my opinion. Cool, so very simple. We've got those nice flat 9s, flat 5s in that one. So that's the minor third. Cool. Now, the other one that's pretty cool is if we play it from the 5th. So that's going to be starting from E. Same thing again. So this is going to give us. So that's going to give us the 5, obviously, the flat 7, the root, the 9th, and the 11th. And we're back to the 5th again. So that immediately has got more of a Mixolydian dominant 7th sort of vibe, hasn't it? You know, so because we've got the flat 7 in there, there's no minor third, there's no major third either actually, so it's a little bit ambiguous, but it definitely lends itself more to the sound of A dominant 7. So what you could do, you could use that, say if we had the dominant blues like we were just talking about, you could play E minor pentatonic, so C minor pentatonic, D dominant. So that's going to get you from chord 1 to chord 4, the C minor being the altered thing in between. Hear that? So in this particular case, just for sake of not having to move so much, I played the C minor pentatonic here, position 4, but it's still the same notes obviously. So that's the dominant sounding one, very cool as well. And I haven't had to change anything, still playing the same one. And then the last one that I like to use quite a lot is the one from the major 7th. That's starting here on the 4th fret, a G sharp. That gives us a Lydian sort of tonality, which is quite cool. I'll give you the intervals first. So we get the major 7, we get the 9th, we get the major 3rd, we get the sharp 4th, the sharp 11, the major 6th, and then the major 7th. Okay, so that gives you this sort of sound, the Lydian sound. You know, major 7, sharp 11. There's the Lydian mode itself. That sound. You could also just use that over major 7 chords if you just wanted to interject that Lydian sound. You know, if you're playing sort of ordinary Ionian type ideas. And then I'm playing minor pentatonic a fret back, which is cool. That's a very simple thing to do. Cool, alright, so they're the main ones I use. So we've got the main one, like I said, position 1, which is the obvious one. You can add the major 3rd in if you want. It kind of makes it a dominant pentatonic. And then we've got the one from the 2nd, or the 9th, that gives you the Dorian flavour. Then we've got the one from the minor 3rd, from the C, which gives you the altered scale flavour. Then we've got the one from the 5th, which gives you the Mixolydian sort of flavour, the dominant sound. And then the one from the major 7th, which gives you the Lydian sort of flavour. And that's all just using minor pentatonic position 1. You can use the other ones, so you can absolutely use them, but just remember where they originate from, which interval we start each one on. Now these aren't to replace the ordinary modes and the ordinary sounds, but they're just a different way of thinking about them. And what we tend to find as guitar players, we have a lot more vocabulary, especially early on, in the minor pentatonic scale, because we've played it for so long and everybody's got tons of minor pentatonic licks. So what they find is when they learn new modes and they learn new scales, they suddenly find themselves like just running up and down the scale. They can't play it, you know, they can't use it. But if you use something like minor pentatonic, you've probably already got tons of vocabulary in that already, so it's an easy way to quickly access a sound. And that's the most important thing. Guthrie Govan interestingly said in a cool interview one time that it's all about owning the sound, and I'm a big proponent of that. That's a great way of putting things, rather than worrying too much about make sure I know everything in every position in every key. That's good, and that's we should probably do that as well, but at the same time, if you can't use it at the drop of a hat and own the sound when it needs to be there, then what's the point? I know a lot of guitar players who proclaim to know everything in every position, every key, but they struggle to play over changes, or if you had a one chord vamp, they run out of ideas very quickly, because there's a difference between knowing it and knowing it. We've all sort of been there, and for me, the quicker you can get to a sound, the more chance you've got of impacting the music, and the more rooted that's going to be in your ear, to be able to hear, alright, I know what mixed Lydian sounds like, I know what Lydian sounds like, I know what the altered scale sounds like, and then you know which notes to target from there. So I hope you find this really useful. It's a cool little concept. Give it a try. It shouldn't take too much practice, and it's just a way of interjecting some of these other sounds into your playing without having to learn loads of scales. Cheers guys for watching, and if you've enjoyed it, if you get any value from it at all, please give the video a thumbs up, and a subscribe would be great. I'm just starting out with this channel, so it needs all the help it can get. So thanks very much guys, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.